come on out to Brown Mountain Bottle Works at 115 East Union Street in Morganton, North Carolina. The place to be for great craft beer. Browse their shelves filled with hundreds of craft beer selections. Relax and enjoy one of their 8 draft taps. Show your love for the store with their logoed t-shirts, hats, and glassware. Want to see what they have in stock 24 hours a day? Check out their website at www.brownmountainbottleworks.com. We'll see you there.
Hi, I'm Glenn, Dash behind the camera. We're the NC Beer Guys. Welcome to another episode of the NC Beer Buzz. Not often we get the chance to come to a brand new brewery on the opening day. In fact, within the first 3 hours of being open, we found our way today to Three Spirits Brewery on Old Pineville Road in Charlotte. And we're here with Terrell. I knew I'd forget it either way. And who is the brewer and part owner here. He's going to show us around this great operation. As I said, we're 3 hours in, and we really appreciate you taking the time away from what is like one of the biggest days of your life.
Yes, it is.
To spend some time with us. But we want to show our viewers and our followers across the state what a great job we're going to do here.
I appreciate that.
Thanks for having us in.
Well, thank you.
So we're starting in the middle room, obviously.
Okay. This is where we start. We got a vacuum ready to go for Monday. We're kind of all bagged up. And we start here in the middle, as most people know. We got an auger here, which will take everything up and then put it up to the grist case right above the mash tun over here.
Okay. And while we're moving, how much beer did you decide you needed in-house to start today? What you decide? I mean, there must be some volume idea about what you would need to start.
I wanted to have 20 barrels of all 6 beers that we're starting with.
Oh, you start with 6.
Yes.
Are those the 6 that will always be the flagships here at Three Spirits?
5 will be the flagship.
5 flagships. Let's tell our viewers what they are.
There will be the Red Moon Rising, which is an amber lager. There's Southern Bliss, which is a golden ale with apricot. And even people who don't like fruit beers, you smell the apricot more than you taste it, so just try it. That's the all-day drinking beer outside on the beach.
Okay.
Then we also have an IPA, so Ain't No Hop Steppin'. We have a brown ale called Agate Have It, and a honey porter, which is we just call honey porter.
And it's great. I'll personally testify to that.
And right now we have our seasonal on, like every other brewery that you've probably seen on these episodes. We thought we were going to be open a lot sooner, so we have German Munich Helles, which we call Hell Spain.
Which was kind of your summer. You thought
exactly.
You thought you'd be ready for summer, but
exactly. Right. So our normal winter seasonal will be a chocolate oatmeal stout, which is actually in the fermenter right behind.
That'll be coming on next.
Yes, about 4 to 5 weeks. Give us.
And before we move on, let's do a little background. Sure. You were a physician and a home brewer.
Yes.
And you picked up home brewing, I think, when you were an intern.
Yes. I was in residency in Indiana, and our residency director recommended that we find a hobby or something that we can do to relieve the stress during intern year, which tends to be difficult and stressful, that we can do indoors since Indiana is not known for its nice, warm winters.
Right.
I had a college roommate at University of Illinois Champaign-Urbana, who actually now works for NASA, but he used to home brew at home when he was in college.
So he kind of gave you the bug.
Gave me the bug. My first year of medical school, he brought down a cherry porter, cherry stout, and we tried that, and that kind of got it going in my mind. So the winter of my intern year, I got a home brewing set for Christmas, and January I started. I haven't stopped
since. You said off camera that you always kind of knew this might be something you want to do in retirement or later in life. Correct. You're obviously a young guy still, so you and the wife have decided at this point that it's time now to do it.
Yes.
So you stepped away from medical practice. What kind of decision making went into that?
Well, a lot.
Right.
I promised my wife one type of a lifestyle with a certain type of income.
And like 2-doctor family.
Exactly. And I just said one day that, I don't like the fact that when we work at the same time, and that all worked very well when we didn't have any kids. But working from 7 to 3, then switching to 3 to 11, then 11 to 7 at night, and we're both away, and there's a nanny taking care of our kids. We loved our nanny, but that's just not the way I wanted my kids to grow up.
Who's raising my family?
Missing every other Christmas and Thanksgiving and not being there with my kids. Christmas morning was just not an option for me.
Right.
So basically one day, there was some other issues in there, but we just decided, and I just said, Nanny's gone, I'm going to be Mr. Mom, and I'm going to find my spot and open up this place.
And you went to your passion.
Exactly.
I mean, not that medicine wasn't.
Exactly.
Not speaking to that side of it all, but you made a lifestyle decision based on what you knew you loved to do.
Right. This was going to be a post-retirement job. Everybody lives longer now, so people want to be able to keep their brain moving. and not get bored. So this is going to be post-retirement. I got this idea. My first job was Elizabeth City, North Carolina, weeping radishes out there, and the person that started that was kind of what he did.
Right.
And so that's kind of where the idea started, and it just kind of got fast forwarded.
So we will real quick remind our viewers that you're looking at the newest brewery in North Carolina, who was inspired by the oldest brewery in North Carolina when he references Weeping Radish and what Yuli Benevis did. And we wouldn't have craft beer in North Carolina without so many of the influences that Mr. Benevis did. So that continuum is just amazing to us in the beer community. So let's move on. I just want to get us off topic. So from the auger,
Get up to the, go through the auger, into the grist case, which is suspended here above the mash tun. We have a 10-barrel system. In the middle is the hot liquor tank. The mixing station's in the back. So of course we start here. And I went to Siebel, and so I had one.
when did you go to Siebel?
I went to Siebel. I would take, God bless my wife, I would take 2 weeks off at a time in March, and then in September in Chicago, Illinois, right after we got married, and she stayed with my parents while I was at school all day.
And having been a home brewer, that had to be an amazing eye-opening experience going to Siebel.
It was. The people there all worked for the biggest breweries, and they were very good at kind of dumbing it down for us, and just making us feel confident that we could do this, teaching us the basics.
And you learned so much. I mean, you had been a home brewer, and you may have had all the passion in the world, but the skill set had to come up before you could move to something like this.
What they did was they basically took me back to my basic science education and just showed how this is all the Krebs cycle in organic chemistry and biochemistry is basically beer is anaerobic glycolysis. So once I got that, I figured out you kind of know when you start brewing how things turn out based on what you do. Now it's just tying those things in together and just putting them in so everything will become more consistent.
So for our viewers, beer is what?
Anaerobic glycolysis. Basically,
that's what beer is.
You're breaking down, you're making yeast in an oxygen-free environment, break down sugar, the glucose, as a fuel agent, and they're producing CO2 and alcohol for us.
Boy, this might be the most high-tone Hensy beer bunch you've ever had. So from our system here, what's the next step?
After here, and this is a neat little thing that the Siebel people recommended. We don't direct fire our mash tun.
Okay.
This is a wort loop. So what we do is we bring the mash off from the bottom of it, send it through this heat loop, and then back on top. And that's the way we get the even temperature on the inside without directly firing and just using the heat on the outside.
Okay.
Then we move it from here to the boil kettle. And of course, that's where most people think of making beer.
That's right.
That's where you can throw the hops in and everything and the spices and make it good. Then we got our heat exchanger here. What we do is we'll run the cold water from our cold liquor tank behind me here through this side of the heat exchanger back into the hot liquor tank. Once it's warm, what it's doing is it's taking the boiling wort at this point, which is coming through here, and transferring that heat to the cold water. And then we recycle the cold water and just use the hot water again. And from here, we oxygenate it and get it over to the fermenters.
And how much storage capacity?
We have 100 barrels of storage. We have 4 20s and 2 10s.
And lots of room for expansion.
Lots. We even got the extra heads up top. There's some over there, and there's some down the end for us to put new fermenters and bright tanks in. If we get big enough, we need them more, which we hope to do. And we've got a space that we hope to be able to grow into.
Now, what is the plan? You told me off camera that you don't intend to be like even a regional brand, probably.
No, I want to be known for Charlotte beer. And I want to I want this to be a dream that is fun and keeps me from having to go back to my other job.
Which means beer here for your patrons in the tap room, and we'll see the tap room later, and some local accounts where people can pick up the Three Spirits brands they're used to without coming here. And maybe some local packaging?
Yes. Okay. We'll try a little bit. Yeah, we're going to try to work that in. We might try to do some canning and stuff, get ourselves out.
But we don't know. Okay, maybe even that soon.
Yeah.
That's kind of soon.
It might be. But if we're thinking about it now, then we're planning for it to happen. And it may not happen that soon, like everything else in the beer industry.
Of course.
But we're ready.
Let's talk about that. You signed the lease here, you said, a couple years ago?
I signed the lease in May of 2014.
How'd you come to pick the location?
I wanted a place that was big enough that we could grow into. I wanted something to be...
You didn't want to start too small, which many people do. That seems to be one of the things that happens. People either let the money or the scaredness of doing too big limit them when they open. And the first problem they have is, I can't make enough beer to suit my demand.
Exactly, and I actually met one of the brewers up in Highland, a few years ago before this all started, and that was the one thing he told me is you have to plan for growth.
Don't start too small.
Don't start too small, because I think they started in the basement of a bar.
Yeah, they did. That's right.
He was just Mr. Wong,
was
horrible.
Mr. Wong started in the basement of that pizza joint and was there for many years, and in fact had to, for some years, contract out his beer, which is in some senses a no-no in some people's minds. But they contracted out a lot of Highland beer until they could get out where they are now in the facility.
Yeah. So he was like, you don't want to do that. Right. So we had to find a place that was both big enough that we could grow into. It is difficult to find a landlord or somebody who will lease to you when this is a startup and you want this much space and something that is normally just distribution and receiving, and you want to start putting trenches in floors and sloping floors.
Yeah, I said so. Right.
But I wanted someplace. I live in TKK, South Carolina, so I wanted someplace that was close to home. That's one of the southern suburbs of Charlotte.
Okay.
So that's why we're the most southern one. I want to be within 20 minutes of something happening to my family or kids that they need to be there.
Right.
I want to be able to get there. And then this place is great. There's a train station right there that people can come in.
And what station on the rail line is going to be closest to us?
It's Woodlawn. Woodlawn is the closest
Woodlawn station. Okay.
Yeah, if you get off on Woodlawn and go south towards Tyvola, we're not even a 5-minute walk from there.
Good. So what are we planning to see in the tap room? I saw some live music today, but it's grand opening day. Of course, you're going to do things right today. And we saw a food truck outside. Is that kind of going to be typical, normal?
We're going to try to have as much music, live music, and the food truck should be every day that we're open. Thursdays and Fridays are 4 to 8, and Saturdays 2 to 8.
Okay. No Sundays?
No Sundays.
No Sundays
not to start with.
Okay.
But, everything can change.
Of course.
And we do have video games here that are free in the back. We have little nooks, I call it curmudgeon corners.
Yeah,
people to kind of sit back.
I noticed that coming in. It's different than most. It's plenty open, but yet there's also some intimacy in some spaces where you don't have to feel like you're just a part of a crowd.
Exactly.
You can settle in with 4, 6, or 2 people and kind of have your little space.
Exactly.
And then some out the back. I didn't actually get to see too much out the back. There's some outdoor area as well, some patio.
Yes, we do have a patio with 5 tables there, and then like a nice little area where you can kind of sit and kind of mill around.
So by springtime we'll have some nice outdoor space.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's great. That's great.
Oh yeah.
So today, if you can possibly describe your feelings today getting open after so many years of hoping, dreaming, and it's come to fruition. And as we all know in the beer business, you knew it was coming, even for a couple of years you know it was coming. But it doesn't come as quickly as anybody wants it, and there's always hurdles along the way. How does it feel today? What are the emotions today?
All over the place. Happy, excited, thrilled that people are liking the beers, anxious, want to make sure everything goes well. The first day is the first impression to the city, but I'm just really proud to be a part of the Charlotte beer scene finally. I mean, this is a great beer scene. We're growing. We're becoming nationally known, internationally known.
Right.
With
award-winning beers. Right.
I mean, I'm really happy.
Great. Welcome to North Carolina. Welcome to the NC Beer Crowd.
Thank you very much.
It's going to be great. They're going to do great things here at Three Spirits on Old Pineville Road, just off the Woodlawn Station on the rail.
Yes. Between Woodlawn and Tyvola, 5046. You can't miss the red and black facades on the front of the industrial building because it's completely out of place.
Okay. There you go. Until next time, this is David Glenn from the brand new Three Spirits Brewery on Old Pineville Road. And remind you to drink local and keep your beer dollars in North Carolina.